Good afternoon and welcome to GrainTV. It's March 6, 2013. I'm Logan Burgess. Joining me to my right here is Brock Shimano. Well, Brock, let's jump into fire tip here, see how the grains traded on a Wednesday. As we can see, corn sold off quite substantially, down 20 3/4 cents on the May contract. Last trade here was at 688 1/4. Soybeans hanging in there relatively unchanged, down just a quarter penny, and we had Chicago wheat off 24 3/4. If you guys want to get live quotes at your home or office, visit us over at grainhedge.com. You can take a no-obligation demo on the platform that you see here on GrainTV. But Brock, kind of break down the action for us. What was kind of your take on the selling that we saw today?
You know, we did start the overnight session. We were only slightly negative on corn and soybeans. As the day session opened, I think we started to see some technical selling come into the market. We also saw some fund selling come into the market. On the day, funds sold about 17,000 corn contracts, and we sold about 5,000 wheat contracts. So that really pushed us to the downside. As far as technical selling, we did break a couple of key support levels. If we jump in here to the May corn daily contract chart here, we can see that after we hit that $7 price level right here, we did sell off quite a bit lower. You know, the next areas we're looking at for support is around the 680 area, which was this low we printed back just about a week and a half ago. Right. And if we break below there, we'll be looking at some new lows, possibly down at the 655 to 650 area on this long-term down trend line. On the wheat chart, if we take a look at that daily chart, you can see that we did break quite a bit lower through that $7 level that we've been consolidating just for the last couple days or so, right above. Was holding support, but we did break through it sharply today. I think that fund selling really pushes quite a bit lower. The next area of support we're going to be looking at is this low that we printed back here in last spring before we got that larger run up.
Yeah, absolutely, Brock. Just looking back at corn here for a minute, certainly we got some ethanol numbers out this morning, and that didn't seem to help out anything over there for corn. Let's jump into our model here that we've been watching throughout the marketing year. Out of the numbers reported today, we did have a reduction in production of 7,000 barrels per day, down to 805,000 barrels per day last week. As you can see here on our chart, the red lines, or the red bars here, are weekly production figures, and you can see for the first weekly reporting here in about 5 weeks, we actually had a reduction in that production. As you can see here, it was still higher than what our forecast shows is needed to meet USDA expectations for the week, but certainly with that production backing off a little bit, didn't seem to help out anything today. We have seen ethanol crush margins back off from the highs that really spurred this production here over the last month, now sitting about $1.36 per bushel there. Our model is still indicating that the USDA needs to revise their corn going to ethanol figure by about 100 million bushels for the current marketing year. It's anybody's guess if that's going to come out in the numbers in Friday's WASDE report, but certainly that is one possibility. On average, as we said yesterday, the trade's expecting corn ending stocks to increase slightly. Certainly some of those bushels could be coming from ethanol.
You know, another area we're going to have to watch on Friday's report is the export sales. Tomorrow we do get the export sales report tomorrow morning. The early estimates are for corn to come in at 450 to 650,000 metric tons, soybeans to be 900 to 1.25 million metric tons, and wheat to come in at 350 to 550,000 metric tons. So we're definitely going to have to watch that tomorrow. We have seen better exports.
Right.
Even this week we saw a couple of daily reported sales amounting to about 220,000 metric tons. Of course, that won't be reported this week. That'll come next week.
Right.
But over the last couple of weeks, we have seen better export sales for corn, so that'll be a number we'll have to watch tomorrow and in Friday's report.
Right.
Now, speaking of Friday's report, another number we're going to be watching closely here is South American production estimates.
Yeah, absolutely, Brock. And as you can see here in this table, basically we have broken down Argentinian corn and soybeans here. Just looking at the top table here out of Argentina, the trade is on average looking for reductions in production by about 2 million metric tons. Out of Friday's numbers. Certainly, we've been talking about it quite a lot here on GrainTV over the last several months. Specifically, northern Argentina has really had a hard time getting moisture in some key growing areas, and it really seemed like things got hot at a critical time, in particular for the bean crop.
You know, in Brazil, it's a little bit of a different story. Average of the analyst guess is for a slight uptick to the corn crop there, and soybeans also to move just a little bit higher. And really, Landworth, the crop forecaster,
right,
actually had similar forecasts come out earlier this morning. So it looks like the private analysts are kind of aligning themselves to see what happens on Friday's report.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly saw a lot of selling here in the grain market. As you said, Brock, tomorrow we'll be watching export sales closely. And tomorrow on GrainTV, we'll kind of be breaking down all the moving parts of the WASDE report that'll be out on Friday in detail. So make sure you tune in for that. But in general here, that's kind of what we saw here for a Wednesday in the grain market. Thanks a lot for joining us, guys, here on GrainTV. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.